Nah, I forget if I put it in.
You have already entered this clan Morse code.
Yep. You can't get any more fun stuff. Alright, Angelus, I want you 25 meters, 50 meters out in front of the main medium group so you can spot anything in the field. So if we've got to hold our push for a second. Alright.
Okay.
Basically run the line, head towards the little dip in the bridge. You'll spot something before
The
we
ones
will.
to meet them first and take shots first, I get it.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, otherwise it's a non-stop push.
Yeah, I know.
Be smart about it.
Yep. In other words, spot, but get the fuck out when, you know.
Exactly.
Hey, Lance, just a heads up. Next Saturday is the big move, so I probably won't have internet after possibly Thursday.
Okay.
It'll be down for a few days. Just giving you guys a heads up now.
Appreciate the heads
Where
up.
are you moving?
About 3.5 miles away to a house I inherited 4 years ago when my father passed. So.
Sorry to hear that, but congratulations.
Yeah, well, his ex-girlfriend's been living there the whole time.
Wow.
He
Hey,
never
Slange,
changed his
remember I
will.
will not be here at all next week.
Right.
Put me on the inactive list.
Oh, it takes more than that to get on the inactive list.
Or the...
That
AFK list.
That's just the general I'm gonna fuck with Patamon list.
I have my own list.
Speaking of which, where's our attendance number or whatever?
Already was posted.
Okay.
TeamSpeak CW1. I'll message Squid if something happens. It's going to be longer than 3 or 4
It's
days.
reposted for you.
Alright, I'll do it now.
No.
Alright, boys.
Here we go.
Battle
Good luck,
comms.
guys.
Good luck, guys.
Battle what?
Battle somethings.
Condoms.
Battle good hits.
Alright, I'm gonna cut to the left after I get in front of Patamon.
When
Just because I have to
not
say
moving
this, is
until
it
you
plated?
get by me.
Is it plated for pleasure?
Alright, mediums, I want you guys to hold until Slange gets out.
In fact, I'm going to
We'll
back
go.
straight up, Zlan, so you can get by me.
I'm going and cutting out in front of Pad. I need to hit that corner as fast as I can.
Yep.
I'll wait for you to go moving. PDX, just sit still.
Yep.
Slange is out. Mediums on me.
I'm
Angelus, get out in front.
Go ahead, mediums.
lagging.
As soon as you can. Alright, douche, start rolling.
Wrong side, Paul. There you go.
Yeah. Saw
Okay.
that shit.
And
No,
just
I
take
can
off
see
to the
it.
left. Yeah, just off to
I'm
the
good.
left.
I'm good.
Pronvon heading to the
Alright,
north. Type 5 heading south. 110E3 heading south. 705 south. Proceed, mediums, proceed.
Going. Mediums. No stop.
Maybe not. Try not to knock over any trees.
Alright. I'm going to knock this over, Squid, and then back up just because it's in the line
That
of fire.
chat coming down to us. Keep pushing,
Lit.
spotted.
Keep pushing, keep pushing,
going.
keep pushing.
Get in the dip, get in the dip. Kronwagen south.
Permatract him out of this.
Alright.
Mediums hold.
Alright, they're going down
Get
low.
a shot.
I'm gonna come in through the back. This needs to be aggressive, mediums.
Take the 140 on the hill, 140 up.
This needs to be aggressive.
Alright, let's go mediums in.
I've got them distracted. Take advantage.
The shots. I'm eating the shots. One shot.
Push, 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 push.
Mossy's the target, 1900.
Mediums in. Douche,
Push
take
the
over.
T62A.
They're not pushing here. Should we... Someone light them up?
Mediums in.
I 7.
Level 140, 255.
Hold up.
Get that 277 62A. That 140.
After that medium's dead, push in towards where Douche Baggins is. Push towards Douche Baggins' location.
Grim, don't move.
Make him come around.
Drive pretty hard here.
They've pushed back.
Alright, deal with the 268-4. Don't let him ram you and push forward past his armor.
Type 5, you getting hits?
Nothing
Down.
yet. No shots. But we got
Move up. Move up, I
take
need
the
you
corner
guys.
squid. There we go.
Go get the E1 on the outside.
Wait, you're good.
Back up a little bit, Neville.
They're gonna shoot right down the middle at us.
Mm.
Yeah, go across.
Yep. Gotta get
There he
all
is,
the
right
way
there.
across.
Why is Grimace moving?
Missed.
Alright. Hold squid. I'll get the one up. Shot me 100. Track. On track.
Alright, Grimace is the cornerstone. You've got to stay out forward on that.
Behind you. Behind you.
Right
They're
behind
here.
you.
Alright.
It's
I'm just
Follow
getting
them.
traffic around you guys. So I try and back off.
Good, I'm hitting the ass. I'm trying to hit the guys behind us.
Sides right,
He
Devil.
dead. I'm dead.
South, reverse side scrape.
That's a lot of damage off of those super heavies.
Somebody shoot lightning.
Yeah.
He's the
Yep,
low
the one-shot lightning, object
What is he?
140.
He's the object 140.
User joined your channel.
Come on, one more kill.
Get the object 140.
I missed him.
No pressure. No
I
pressure.
got no, I'm on food. I got no fire extinguisher. I missed him. I hit the freaking. I think I hit the Kronwagen.
So, all in all, those IS-7s did a nice job on that hold. There was a lot of health off of Type 5s and
User
Mouse, and
joined
that's
your
a
channel.
large health pool to
User
go
joined your
against, and you
channel.
held up against that force beautifully. That was a nice echelon. A little bit of movement out of the cornerstone tank there. So we just need to be solid on that cornerstone. He doesn't move. But otherwise, I was pretty happy with how that heavy section did.
My viewpoint is they literally we initiated a advance and we stopped and we started camping, and from that point on they had the advantage and they took it and they completely
Yes.
robbed us.
We stopped the push because they had 8 guns
We
on us,
stopped.
and running past that middle mound right there would have
Right.
there was no cover.
Unfortunately, I have to admit that it was the fact that we stopped that changed the entire.
So,
Up until that
here's
point, we
here's the
had game,
baseline.
but
The
second
baseline
we
is
stopped-
me coming in from the back, took 3 of those guns off.
When we
Yeah.
pushed as soon as he took those guns off, and I got
Yeah.
eaten up.
and that
and-
was
and we-
that was wrong.
Oh, don't feel bad. I got obliterated on my
So-
way in too.
We
Yep,
needed
268.
to do something a little bit different out in that field. So at that point, it might have been better to have had a couple. Oh, hang on.
Repositioned.
So I've got the strat. I've got the strat
Maybe
back up.
A stirve would have.
So at that point, it might have been better to have moved a couple of tanks in through here to put side shots on anything up here, but not even so much just that, but have these guys, they saw the force push out, they expected them to all be here, which they were. So move a couple of tanks up through here and then swing in through the back, so they don't have armor, because that's a 268 V4. If you're behind a 268 V4, he can't touch you. So running in through the back here and then having these guys farm them when they go to turn. So that would be this spot here, just working that corner.
Plan.
What's up?
What if you just held your mediums and box at spawn? Just hold your mediums at spawn.
Yeah, we should have waited.
You send one bat chat out to the normal fucking light position. Right there in fucking Charlie 4, right? Just tops up on the fucking hill. He lights what's there, and then you decide what you're gonna do with your mediums.
What we could have done is taken 4, parked them here, the rest of the mediums here, put the bat chat there, This bat chat's watching this way. So now we've got eyes here. Once we know, this force can move down and start using here.
Right. Then they know what they're moving into, right? Exactly.
Yeah, but then you take this group right here and you just bring them up and you start using this and working through here.
Guns.
Yep.
You
now
have
you're under their guns.
Yeah.
You tried to break their defensive positions, and they had TDs, which you didn't. So you couldn't break through. And maybe next time, like, you can have 1 or 2 TDs, maybe Sturves, which are able to go on the hill at Bravo Charlie 4.
Yeah, they'll get lit.
Even then, he gets lit, but if you have
not 2, but I mean even 1.
If you're forward, if you're being forward with your if you have an advanced party with a wolf pack, then it doesn't matter if he gets lit, because you can have fire down range to support the mediums.
I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told Gingy last night. If a Sturv gets lit and they don't have extremely immediate problems to deal with, and some mediums crossing open ground, or when they're behind cover at the, Bravo 7 or wherever they're at, if they aren't literally in their face and having to deal with them,
because
that Sturv is dead.
I like the spots that this Bat Chat 25. Hang on, Angelus. Hang on.
Kidding me?
I like the lights that this Bat Chat 25 ton got here. That was good. We saw a lot of information. We saw the Kronvons heading up that way initially. We saw the Type 5s and their super heavies heading down this way, the 705A. This was great spots. It gave us a lot of information on the south. I agree with the second Bat Chat. And I agree with the holding on the mediums. That second Bat Chat can either be working up here and he'll catch them as they come across right through here, or the other Bat Chat. Well, it wouldn't be a Bat Chat at this point. It would have to be a 100 LT if he's going to go play this hill.
You don't know what's funny though is if you take your mediums here, and even if you split them, right? So this Bat Chat gets all the lights in the world and they split down. If you ran a group of 3, then you use them as a bait, bait them out into here. Take the rest of them, and they can come down, and now you're butt fucking the heavies, and you push in. So then all these guys have got to redirect, but now you've got 5 tanks out here that can come around.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all
you
all
just
those
give up the
140s have to
field.
do, all that second force has to do is just pretend like they're there, right? They're just there to stall.
Yeah, and what you can use here instead of 140s and 907s, use AXs and Pattons, anything that's got good gun depression sitting in here. And the LT just sits right here and doesn't do shit. He just sits there and gets up, goes smokes a cigarette.
And then if you want to use a Sturv,
No, I want the flexibility out of the mediums.
But I felt kind of
then you could do it because you have armor in front of you, right?
I felt too static with the I7, so next time maybe if you use the same strat, you can have less of it, so that you can put the tanks somewhere else to do something else.
The problem I saw with the IS-7s after I died and I clicked over was that our cornerstone was backed up. The whole point was for them to just sit there and get held down. Now, in all honesty, for that, you could always put the super conch there, but the problem is then the IS-7s can't shoot over it. And the only weakness then would be the angled visor, basically. View hatch.
But the thing there, I was wondering, so if the first guy moves back, he should tell the next guy, and so far, then we all move forward time. So when he pulls forward...
The thing is that Grim wasn't here earlier when we spoke about it, so he took the initial position where he didn't quite know how to use it, I think. Grim, am I right?
No.
Yeah, I'm not blaming Grim because he was not here, but somebody who was here should
Yeah,
have said, hey,
that definitely needs to be somebody who participates in that training.
Because, you get the IS-7 hull down there, even with the super heavies, the only thing is E5 is just going to just start pounding you with heat, or HE your ass. It doesn't matter. You'll lose 300-400 hit points. You're not bouncing it.
So, but I do
If that provides a meat
I
shield
do
for the rest,
like
then.
how this operated, though. If we can get that cornerstone solid, the IS-7s were able to stop an entire push of mice Type 5s with the combination of the two Type 5s dealing with the E100 that was down here. That was very nice. That worked beautifully, in my opinion.
No, and I agree. I think that the heavy plan worked. We just got to
I
redo
agree.
the medium plan.
The one thing I think we shouldn't have done is moved our Type 5s up because he couldn't come around the corner
Excellent.
to hit the IS-7s. But
Yeah,
I think we should have stayed back.
We had too many tanks there for the effect that we did. I mean, the fact that we died at the end proves that like the tanks should have been used for something else.
I don't agree with that because they came around the back.
So maybe you can. Let's put it like on two simple things. You have an active side and you have a passive side.
Yep.
The IS-7s and Type 5s were really passive, whereas your active side got
But they were
destroyed.
successful in their objective of area denial. That effectively cut.
That's what their whole point was, is area denial.
Yeah.
But you split
Need
your
that many
team half and
tanks
half
for area denial, though.
You split your teams half and half for that. I mean, you paid a heavy price for what
I
you
did, but that's because I pushed the mediums on the outside.
If you look at it, it's no different than
half and
anytime
half,
we do
too.
any map, though. You're gonna split your forces unless you're gonna go a full med build or a full super heavy build with like a random scout. You're gonna.
And it's a matter of using your
have a choice.
vision at that point in order to figure out where they're going and take out the weaker side for the overmatch.
It's not to split or not, it's to put the tanks with maximum effect. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you could use some extra tanks on your north push. If they're TDs, if they're mediums, but more tanks is always better. At that point, maybe you could have get the overmatch with like whatever you were facing.
Yeah.
What was the story with the Type 5s? I'm just curious. We were out of the bat. We're up north. Did they have anybody to deal with?
Oh, we had plenty of shots once they came around, but we were in position to hold to keep the IS-7s from getting flanked on the front.
Right.
Which is what we did.
Were you able to get shots on the enemy while you were there?
Oh yeah, they wailed on the health.
We had shots when the E100 came around, and then we heard the call to push on the E100, so we pushed up.
Hmm.
Yeah, the heavies did a really nice job.
We just gotta work on in every map and every time you call, for those of you who don't call or haven't called, you're gonna give up a third of your map. You have to.
Really?
You cannot call the whole map. You can send a scout out, you can send a small 2-3 man detachment.
See, but that's not true, Patamon, because if I get a tech victory, I get control of all of the map.
True. But I'm just saying, in the middle of an actual match, you're not calling the whole damn map. You call, this is where my main focus is going to be. So on Himmelsdorf, lately it's us take the hill. That's not working. We got to leave the hill alone and worry about the 1-2 main tank line.
It's a different strat, okay? Every strat has a way of playing it, and it's a valid one. I disagree on that. I'm sorry.
Well,
I agree
that's
with
why we're
on
here.
that. Yeah, like the hill has never worked for us.
Okay, I'm gone.
User left your channel.
If you can't take constructive criticism as a caller, then you pull what he just did. If you want to be successful as a caller, you take constructive criticism and you learn from it. You learn from what your players are telling you. That's the one thing I'll tell anybody in this room who's a caller or wants to be a caller. What he just did is baby bullshit, crybaby. Sorry, I ain't got time for it. Himmelsdorf, you cannot use the hill. It does not work.
The only time that you can use the hill is taking maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 mediums to snipe outside shots on 2-3 line.
That's where you put your 3-man detachment on Himmelsdorf. Everybody else, if you've noticed, every team that we fought, no matter who they are, have taken the 8-line and a 3-line push.
Go back to Paris, though.
Yeah.
And the reason they do that is because it neutralizes the hill.
Yep.
The hill doesn't have shots.
Exactly.
Back to
All right,
Paris. Can we,
but back to
the
Paris.
terrain
Let's stay on the task at hand.
there was some discussion about bringing some mediums around. Oh, I've got ping power. There was talk about mediums doing
Yes.
some kind of a rap
So
to engage the enemy.
So
What's
basically,
that?
since the
Sound
back
like
chat
that?
performed in this spot as well as it did, I was able to see exactly what was going on that south side, what was going where. And if we do what we're talking about, the 100 LT, we'll know exactly what's going on up north. At that point, we can have the feint here and leave these two here. This guy's still in a position he can redirect if we want him to. But these three mediums then over here are able to wrap down the alleyways. So what you need to do is you need to keep them in a position where they can move quickly without getting spotted early on. So for example, if I go running them down through this alleyway, if they have anything hanging out on this corner like a bat chat or anything, they're instantly spotted. They know they're going to get pushed on the back, and by the time they get back here, those turrets are probably going to be turned.
Same thing with over here. As long as they put something right there, anything that comes in over here
Yes.
is going to be spotted.
So what you have to do with those mediums is you have to run them down this way, and then you have to hug, and they are going to get spotted right about in here. But there is a chance, depending on how good the tank is, whether it's 100 LT or a bat chat, and the crew, there's some bushes right in here. Plus, you've got the cover here. So as long as you're hugging this, you might be able to sneak in and push it further until right about here. At which point, either you commit down this alleyway, or you take a shot or two and you commit down the back.
Either way, if you run them this way.
Exactly. This loses the echelon, so the lead tank, your keystone, now pulls out, and it becomes a nice, easy transition where people are going to start falling in, and you can even start getting into some more advanced stuff. So, for example, if people are practiced and they know what they're doing, it turns into something kind of like this, or there's a whole wide variety. But basically, you want two lead tanks so that one doesn't just instantaneously get focused, and then you start pushing in, getting aggressive, and you DPM before this stuff redirects down. Because they have to come up a hill, around, and they're still not getting shots because those mediums are not going to be staying here. Those mediums drop down into this lower section here where they have to come up and over the top of that hill.
Well, by the time the mediums get around here, their heavies are up in this area engaging our heavies at that rebel pile. So since they get spotted, then the idea is to
exactly, because
yeah, it sounds
the timing is the critical part here. So getting a little bit of a head start here on the heavies is going to be kind of important, but these type 5s have to be moving in either around this corner or down around this corner here for some side shots and get that head start and that ground covered before these guys go hell-bent for leather.
And we have to pretty much take out their heavies before everybody, all the other...
Because preferably these type 5s will use this building for cover and then either sweep around with the IS-7s or sweep around. I would prefer out this way because it's less time their guns are out of the fight.
I guess just one comment. The only way that works is if they commit to the field. If they don't commit to the field, then all their guys sitting here come back down and you're in a crossfire. The heavies turn around, they kill the mediums, and then they turn around and everybody kills the heavies.
Well, but the idea, though, is that our heavies are pushing up and getting the backs of their heavies are killing the mediums, I guess.
I know PDX, and the idea is to create a local overmatch.
Right.
But as soon as we bring tanks down into here to shoot in the back, if these guys up here have not committed to the field, they come back and tear us apart. So the only way that flex around works is if these guys commit over here somewhere.
But here's the thing, right? So they're sitting here. These guys roll. They don't have to roll this whole corner to start shooting heavies in the butt. If you know, and the map. So if we know all of a sudden these guys are leaving and coming this way, these guys just bail out. And then the heavies, just it turns into the normal pub heavy brawl here. And then all the mediums can decide, oh, do we pub it? Or they come out, these guys fall in, so now they're covering their retreat because they've got shots here and here. He stays here, lets us know if they decide to come this way.
User disconnected
Because they're not going to
from your
commit
channel.
all their forces from here down. They're going to commit their fast movers this way. They'd have left their 268 here. They'd have left the two guys that were here, and they might have left. What else do they have over here? Kronwagen. He'd have stayed here. So the 140s, 3 of them would have come back this way. Then you've got your bat chat here. He gets involved, so now you got a 4-on-3 overmatch. So these guys don't have to leave necessarily right away unless they see all these heavies right here do this. And then all they do is just re-echelon these type 5s.
User disconnected
They just
from your
move
channel.
here, or they move back here to get shots to cover the mediums.
Yep.
Bailing out.
That's what I think happened when we were told to push up the IS-5s. They gave us shots down through here and started to hammer us.
Yeah.
We should have stayed right here at the farthest.
Yeah. So these guys aren't ever going to keep up with the echelon. So all they can do is lumber along at like 2 miles an hour and shoot this way or this way. So basically you want one type 5 back here. He's your backdoor watcher. This type 5 could actually sit down in here and he covers here. So then this echelon of heavies, when they're echeloned here, don't get what we got where they got shot in the ass after all of us mediums got wiped out here. It's just refining tactics.
And that's
and then,
part of the joy of working a new map that you haven't called before is you set up an initial and you find out what works and what doesn't.
First time we've been on this map.
And again,
yeah.
Gentlemen, do we have something planned for tonight? I'm sorry I couldn't participate. My IS-7 was
it's all landing tournaments tonight, so you can still use it.
we still have more battles coming?
Yeah. Two more.
What do you mean? I won't be. It's locked. I can't use it, can I?
No, landing tournament, you can use it.
If it's not for the landowner.
So, what you need to understand, there are designated landing zones. Those are called landing tournaments. If you attack a piece of territory that is not one of the designated landing zones, it is not considered a landing tournament. Therefore, there will be tank lock. So as a landowner, where we were pushing from land to land, we are locking tanks on those kinds of battles unless we win. Whereas a designated landing zone, which we are doing because we pulled off the map, you will not lock tanks unless it's against a landowner.
And locked tanks don't matter.
So locked
Correct.
tanks can play.
Right.
On land.
About half an hour.
So think of it this way, Avex. Locked tanks are only locked against a landowner battle. And those are very few and far between.
Did you guys all get that, like, play a mission and win a shitload of days and
yes.
premium for 7 days too?
I didn't.
I mean, that's nice.
I got 1 day.
I need to. I've only got 9 days left because I haven't been playing.
I got 7 days for one
All right,
battle.
I definitely appreciate all the feedback, though, on this map. I feel like we've got a better idea for next time. And I'm eager to throw it back into battle and see what happens next time.
Did I get 7 days because I got a Class 1 badge?
No, you just get 7 days.
They like you.
I think you only got 1 day, Avex. The 7 is a badge.
Yeah,
but it looks like days premium.
Yeah, the further you go up on that, that
for
tank,
the 7th anniversary.
So, what was that demand?
the further you go on that tank, that Italian tank, if you look on it, I think it's 4 or 5, you get 7 days premium.
Alright, so if anybody else thinks of any more suggestions and wants to talk to me more about Paris, I would be happy to talk to you about it later. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and bring up mines.
are you? So you're ignoring the 7,
I
8,
am,
9
with the
line?
intention of a hard 1-2 line push in order to get shots into the back of the heavies that we know are going to be here, and getting tank destroyers in the backlit and dealt with. So these are initial starting positions, specific starting positions.
I do have one question that I just noticed and I wanted to ask Lange. I know your super conks you have for here and here. Would they be more preferable to have IS-7s in here because they can get hull down better?
The reason is the gun depression.
I know the gun depression. I understand. It's just wouldn't they sit higher and the front plate still be vulnerable that high up?
Alright, so here's the explanation on that. There is a ditch right in here. This is the only place that an IS-7 can go hold down and have shots up over the top without getting slammed by their gun depression.
Right.
The advantage to the super conks is that they can play further back here and still be tall enough and be shooting up over the top with their gun depression without having to be in the ditch. So if they have to fall back for whatever reason, they just keep working that gun depression and the top of that ridge as they come over and just keep working back. Or if it comes to we have successfully moved our mediums to post initial positions,
I understand. I was just asking about the tank comp for these two spots up here.
So after the post, let's say they start falling back. Now these super conks are going to start working and just creeping over with that gun depression and just only exposing that turret. And it's going to be a fine line for those heavies to know where that point is. If they do go too far over, then yes, they're going to get penetrated. Because the other thing that they have to worry about is this tank destroyer. So this push over with the heavies has to halt if these tank destroyers get lit, which it will. Because then those super conks and all of those mediums need these guns out of the back. Because once that happens, mediums are then free to come around the back, farm the back of the heavies, and heavies are able to push over and put them in a focus fire. Like crossfire too. So the reason we have the spread on the mediums is because these guys here can deal with any heavies that they redirect here, get them lit. These guys can work angles around this rock here, and we still maintain shots on the tank destroyers. Priority is the tank destroyers. And then it's vice versa for the other side. The only difference for the after initial is our mediums are running this way, hard and heavy down into the southern area. So once these guys are brawling it out, our heavies have pushed up into here. Again, the super conks, same function. We get these heavies cross-fired out. We're going to have a medium or two hop this ridge here, start working this corner, spotting these tank destroyers. Super conks are going to fire on anything here. Once we have this cleared out, they then move up, spot the tank destroyers that are going to be here. Super conks again, farm them out. And then we start the big push up and through, up in here. Because at this point, they either have to wrap around this way, in which case we finish out these guys, potentially cap them out, because then our super conks change to a role of interference, or we continue nipping at their heels and eating them away, and then the super conks cut them off. But the thing that needs to be said about this, as far as after the initial, is that there is a special route that needs to be taken for the mediums. Ah, crap. And there's a special route coming from the opposite side as well. I'm off. That route needs to be adhered to fairly strictly because of the camo that is provided down here on this lower side. If we are pushing from base 2, gives a lot of good protection, and it also keeps you from being spotted because of the rows of bushes that they now have here. It's not until about this point that they could potentially spot you, unless they have a medium up here, in which case it gets brawled out and killed, but there is no stopping of the movement. This push happens whether there's tanks up here or not. The idea is if you're sending as many mediums as we are, that you should be able to take a single tank if everybody penetrates their shot and makes it count on the way through. Questions, comments, concerns?
Let's be nice to Cell. We need him.
I was being
No,
nice.
Yeah, no one was being mean to him.
No, but we want it. We don't want him to get pissed off and stuff. We want to be needs to. His land. This is your department.
Okay, let me speak for myself on this one, Lange. For those of you who don't know me, I used to be a caller for Rohan and for the Shire. I didn't want to be one, but I tried to help out.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, well, I've learned a lot from Rohan and them, and I learned a lot from Harm. I've been a caller in a lot of clans, okay? If you cannot take constructive criticism as a caller, and look, I've had Mick yelling at me, for those of you who remember Mick, okay? You cannot be a caller. If your strat doesn't work after 2 or 3 tries, change it up. Because if you keep doing the same shit over and over again, people are going to know. Even if you get successful.
That's not my point at all.
Your point is I was too harsh on him. He got pissed off and he left.
No, that's not my point at all. My point is we have to give him a little love.
I would have given him a little bit of love, but he got mad. He left like a child.
Yeah, no one was being mean to him.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, I agree.
We don't have to be any nicer to him because we weren't being mean to him.
My philosophy on this, Avex, is if you're going to act like a child, I'm going to treat you like a child.
Basically, I'm a grown-ass man, and look, I've had anybody in here could yell at me about how I called that last battle, and I'm going to listen to it, I'm going to take it, and I learn from my mistakes. All I was doing was offering constructive criticism.
I remember you doing that.
I have
So, bottom line is that we took that battle, we analyzed it with our debrief, and we said, okay, this worked, this didn't. And Cell even pointed out that pushing the mediums with the holding positions that they had on Paris over here, since they held this section here, that was a mistake to try and push because we pushed into a bunch of guns. And he was right. Yep. He had good input. He had good input too.
I agree. Completely agree.
Can you give me Trevor real quick, Slange?
That wasn't what pissed Cell off. What Cell got pissed off at least from what I could tell, was that he was trying to make a showing you a thing, and a bunch of people just jumped on him real quick. That's what pissed him off. Nobody got mean at him. Nobody yelled at him. He was trying to make a point and kept getting jumped on about what he was trying to explain. He was just trying to make you understand that having that many heavies in one spot, not doing that much, that's what he was trying to make you understand. But he kept getting jumped on about it, and that's what pissed him off, and that's what caused him to leave.
He got mad not about Paris. He got mad because I said his hill strat.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
it was the hill strat for Himmelsdorf, which is
And what I said, he said I disagree with you, Pat. And I said I unfortunately have to agree with Pat.
At which point he felt attacked.
Got him mad because, well, the thing is he doesn't know me. So, you know, the people who do know me know I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just trying to bring it into general discussion. He doesn't know me. He just met me 3 days ago, and his first response when I joined the clan was, "You've got to."
Which is amazing that Padamon's pissing people off and not douche.
You know what? Fuck
Oh.
Shit, and I thought I was the asshole.
You were moved.
Oh, rude. Rude.
Don't worry, I used to.
Flange, I told you to make it so people can't move you.
Anyways, so it's not even a matter of people attacking. It's he didn't like what he was hearing, and I understand. I understand where he's coming from, but reality is that there's different styles of gameplay for different callers, and under normal circumstances, I would completely agree. But the one thing that I will say is that we probably shouldn't have gone on Himmelsdorf. You're not wrong about what you said about Himmelsdorf, but that was another battle, another item separate from what we were doing, as far as I'm concerned.
And that was Gingy's strat with guidance, and that was one of his first tier 10 calls, as far as I know.
The call wasn't bad on Himmelsdorf. The only issue that I, personally, from having to sit back because I bled so much early on, we didn't have anybody screening initially, so those IS-7s were able to peek around.
Well, that's for another time to deal with that. But worry about
when Cell comes back, I will sit down and I will talk to him. And if he wishes to talk to me, he can. If he doesn't, then he doesn't.
Yep.
That's how I am. So.
Do I need to go get the Rohan roster and see how many people told me they had
Me?
Patamon, are you my spirit animal?
Oh, I think so.
I think he's my chihuahua.
Now we're talking.
I'm gonna grab a drink. I'll be back.
Yeah, I don't care who I pissed off.
I'm just a substitute.
But
so you can't piss me off.
You did nothing wrong.
But in the long run, to get better, you should listen to other people, and other people should listen to you to make a better strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's my opinion. Because that's even in life, when you're doing a job, you might have something and someone else might have something. You take a little bit of what they have, put it in yours.
Which is exactly why I have my staple of...
So is that the reason why everybody was fucking my ex-wife?
That's exactly why I have the comments of...
No, she just spread
comments, thoughts, suggestions, things that could have gone better. Because it opens up the floor to that discussion so that I can get that feedback.
Yeah, and it's good to hear other people's opinion, because some people might be better in a certain tank. Say, hey, I know this spot over here is really good in this kind of tank, and I know this over here you can do really good damage.
And that's exactly how Fire and Squid were like, hey, put the Type 5s over here. Because that wasn't the initial position I was going to stick the Type 5s, but we went into the training room, and they said, hey, stick them here. And I was like, you're right, that's a good idea, thank you. So, being open in that fashion is always a good thing. But, at the same time, you know, let them play with the strat. If it doesn't work...
You can still put your 2 cents in and tell them, okay, yeah, I agree with you.
Because the bottom line is, if you're going to give it, you have to be able to take it.
Fair.
Yep. Well, douche likes to receive more than he gives.
Ask douchebag's wife.
Undercover police posing as drug buyers arrested by undercover police posing as drug dealer.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw that. But you see that frequently. Is that actually a thing or a meme? Because it generally is a meme.
I'm hoping to God this is real, because I would fucking think I think it's real. In 2017, November in Detroit, which makes it even more real, right? Because it's in Detroit, when they don't have anything. They can't even keep their own fucking shit straight. Oh, dude, that's great. That's fucking golden.
Wait, Cell got arrested for being a fake drug dealer? What?
Yeah, I think that's what
I mean, maybe. Sure. Oh, dude, that's golden. Could you imagine that bust? Yeah, we got him.
That's funny.
Meanwhile, the junkies on the corner of the street that were just getting ready to
I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, I'm out.
I'm gonna dip.
I have no idea. PDX, was that dropping on you tonight?
I was having a lot of. It was very sporadic. I was having a lot of pauses, so that what could have been happening.
I noticed that the other night too.
When the second.
This is my slideshow.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a frame a second kind of shit.
Yeah. It's you have some serious
It's not
problems.
because
I
I've got a
thought it was
hardline
being
connection
shitty.
and
I wasn't gonna say anything.
there's something else going on.
It's not his connection, it's just dropped frames. Possibly encoding too high or something like that.
It was very consistent. I mean, I could